For business when you can again spend a late night at your favorite North Dakota bar.
Meanwhile, Minnesota restaurants plan a protest in the streets to support their neighbors reopening early.
And a porch pirate replacing packages with different items. We'll tell you the other bizarre turn that this story takes. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
First tonight, our weather took note of the changing seasons today. We have a first alert weather day to warn you about this week.
So let's head straight over to our chief meteorologist, Hutch Johnson, with a first look. Hutch?
Mike and Andrea, thanks so much. Here is the very latest. We have updated forecast model data rolling in as we speak, and there is a significant change with what we're seeing with our storm system as things are starting to get a little closer. High confidence in timing, in the fact that this storm will produce wind and snow together. And that high confidence still continues that Arctic cold will also work its way in after the main event. And there's a lower confidence in snow amounts, but models are starting to show a little bit more agreement as we go into the nighttime. There is a winter storm watch for the counties you see shaded in yellow. That's for Tuesday night late into Wednesday. And here is a look at that system off to the west. It's making its debut in the Pacific Northwest as it gets organized. There will be very impactful weather, particularly Wednesday morning through Wednesday afternoon across the region. That is why last week we declared Wednesday a first alert weather day. Here's a look at the updated snow potential. You can notice a large shift there in the heavier bands of snow. It does include Grand Forks and Fargo now with that potential for enough snow combined with wind to create dangerous conditions. Hour by hour details in just a moment.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
North Dakota businesses can resume normal operating hours beginning tomorrow at 8 in the morning. Bars, restaurants, and other food service establishments have been closed to in-person service between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. since November 16th. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum signed the amended executive order late today, citing encouraging COVID numbers.
Today in North Dakota, the positivity rate is less than 5%, and 78 individuals tested positive. That is the lowest number in months. In Minnesota, the state has dipped below 2,000 COVID cases for the first time in nearly 2 months. The 7-day positivity rate is less than 9%.
Business owners in East Grand Forks are planning a very Minnesota protest, putting ice houses up and down 3rd Street in protest of Governor Walz's mandatory shutdown. The protest will happen from noon until 8 o'clock on January 9th. They're asking you to pay $40 to set up an ice house on 3rd Street and order takeout from an East Grand Forks business while you're there. The money will be split between Joe's Diner and the Boardwalk, both establishments facing legal action from the Attorney General for reopening early.
A South Fargo woman is now missing one of the gifts she bought her child after someone stole the box that was delivered in right off her front porch. But as Devin Fry reports, this case of porch piracy took a couple of strange turns.
Experienced a bizarre case of porch piracy over the weekend. Emily Meyer says that a stranger walked up to her home on 15th Street South and took the package waiting by the door. That's where things get interesting. Meyer says they replaced her stolen package with a different box which belonged to a different Fargo resident who also had a package stolen.
We live in a pretty quiet, pretty secure, small neighborhood, so our neighbors are looking out for us. But it takes 2 minutes for something like this to happen. So
this Ring doorbell security footage from Meyer appears to show the person grabbing the package, putting it into a grocery bag, and then replacing it with another box before heading back to their car. The Fargo police are currently investigating the incident.
I don't know if we'll ever get that gift back. I'm not hopeful, but I hope that people who see things like this happening will take action.
The strangeness doesn't end there. Meyer says that a short time later, a child came up to the door with the original package. The gift she bought for her son was missing and replaced with frozen food.
I honestly don't think that the people who dropped the box back off were part of the original theft. I think they were trying to do the right thing and take a box back to the house where it came from.
Meyer says that this incident is causing them to rethink getting packages delivered to their home.
My husband and I have talked about getting a box at the UPS store or something like that where we can have our packages delivered to an actual facility.
Reporting from Fargo, Devin Fry, Valley News Live.
This incident is being investigated by Fargo police, so if you have any information, you're urged to contact them.
Winter weather has many in the Red River Valley itching to get out on the ice this holiday week. But for one Minnesota man, he says not so fast, saying the first cold snap of the year doesn't mean that the ice is safe.
Well, there is no such thing as good ice. I mean, you're taking a gamble every time you go out there. Everybody says, we got good ice here, the ice is safe. Ice is never safe.
And adds that for those wanting to hit the ice this month, clear ice is best. He's urging anglers and snowmobilers to check the ice about every 30 to 40 feet to make sure it's safe. To create better ice conditions, Thompson says areas would have to see multiple days of temperatures at or below zero with little to no snow.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is urging high schoolers to apply for unemployment if they've been laid off due to the pandemic.
Since I was 14 years old, much like many other students, and I've been working to actually play a very pivotal role in getting our basic needs met ever since I was 16. So that includes food, rent, utilities, and I've been a lifelong entrepreneur. I've always wanted to start my own business, but for so long, struggling, just focusing on survival, it's been hard for me to do that.
Stephen says at first when he applied, he didn't get anything, but eventually began receiving unemployment. The governor says COVID-19 job loss has primarily affected communities of color and children.
The CDC says it's assessing how to respond to the new coronavirus variant in England. The center says it's looking into what the U.S. should do in terms of international travel. At this point, there are no plans to impose travel restrictions on the U.K., as many other countries have. Government officials says that there's a variant that may be up to 70% more transmissible than the earlier type of coronavirus. But health officials say there's no evidence so far that it's more deadly or resistant to vaccines.
Healthcare experts estimate the COVID vaccine will be available to most people who want one by spring. If you're pregnant, trying to become pregnant, or breastfeeding, doctors say there are a few things you should consider. Emmeline Ivy has the details.
I got the chance to speak with an obstetrician who had to make that decision for herself now that she's 33 weeks pregnant. Jessica Sedevi says she had a few concerns. However, she ultimately chose to get the COVID vaccine because for her, the benefits outweighed the risks. Jessica Sedevi is in a position to understand her patients' concerns when it comes to getting a COVID vaccine.
The vaccine hasn't been studied in pregnant women. So the decision is all in weighing risks versus benefits.
As a frontline healthcare worker, Sedevi decided the risks of catching COVID were higher for her. So in her third trimester, the expectant mother decided it was the right choice.
My risk of exposure to COVID working in the hospital, it remains high. And additionally, pregnant women are at increased risk of being a little bit sicker if they get COVID.
But that's not to say she didn't experience the same hesitations as her patients.
I feel like just how fast we were able to do this like monumental thing, I think initially intimidated me. Like, okay, well, what corners did we cut to get here?
She says education was the key to easing her mind when it comes to the safety of the vaccine. She says she experienced mild reactions.
My arm was sore for a couple of days. I don't know, I'm 33 weeks pregnant and an obstetrician, so I was a little tired over the weekend, but I don't know if it was anything more than my baseline.
While she still has some concerns about potential long-term risk,
the unknown is scary.
She says she's confident.
I'm excited.
And feels safer with her decision.
Sedevi is now one of the first pregnant women providing data to the CDC through a monitoring system. She says she's happy she can be a piece of the puzzle for other pregnant women who might be faced with a decision in the future.
Later on Valley News Live at 10, the rescue worker has had to resuscitate plenty of people, but never an elephant. How it turned out, still ahead tonight.
And a great conjunction captured between Jupiter and Saturn as they set in the sky about a 7 o'clock hour. Big time changes in your weather as we go through midweek. A first alert weather day on Wednesday. Hour by hour details are next.